So Chema Wontumi abusuya apauche na no oguso pa President Mahama mobeka ya Chema Wontumi nneoma or the President Mahama FM no abusuya na enye nneoma ketwa during NDC in opposition Chema Wontumi kwatena ne TV so ne radio station so ebo President Mahama echi otumi ka se President Mahama Krampo no one ye vice president no omo no secretly omo aware ene nsem bia osan so ka say President Mahama Krampo say obeba Kumasi agi say ono osiki permission from ono chairman Wontumi ansana Wontumi aba Ashanti region abusuya ensem bebre na President Mahama chairman Wontumi panacha no abusuya ene Black Rasta had dropped submission there submission no the two jano also President Mahama party chairman Wontumi enka apauche na all panel onjai onfan to baby nanka ne 20 years J term no onye din femo din ontwa sa 20 years J term no na se pass President Mahama or this nyoma bia oye na ode be chene de abusuya edin right now no President Mahama was no be chairman Wontumi sa presidential pardon Chairman Wontumi epe ede free President Mahama no emu ayeden ede amano ankasa enye asam ketwa ntino Chairman Wontumi sa amnesty a ope ene presidential pardon no nsensem no abusuya Black Rasta aba be throw ne out or kase Chairman Wontumi onyedi na ontwa ne 20 years data mo yanko na yanko ti enseme course ba ya de aka ebeto am so unsubscribe ya subscribe like na hit say on the notification bell so send be any update be ebe drop no onso wonsa ebetumi akabi aha gossip politics TV so and don't forget to click on the notification bell medamas.
Why Mahama has forgiven but cannot forget Wontumi's savage attacks. Whoa! Now, John Dramani Mahama is a very fine president. John Dramani Mahama is a man that the whole of Africa is hailing right now. He's been able to have a full grasp of the economy, having rescued it from the days of nonchalance and irresponsible behavior in the 8 years of Nana Addo and Bawumia. He came back. Many were those who said he was going to perform worse. Prophets even prophesied that the cedi was going to even dwindle the more against the dollar because Mahama, the incompetent dead goat, was coming back into the presidency. But Mahama had a game plan. Mahama was ready for action. Oh my God. Within weeks of being in power, the cedi started getting a lot of respect from the dollar. Prices of commodities started to also go down. The Mahama government was beginning to show signs of resurrecting the dead economy. Oh my God. Many Ghanaians started talking about a third term for him already. At the time, he had categorically told Ghanaians, listen, I am not here for that. Ghanaians have given me 1 term. It is Ghanaians I'm serving. Ghanaians are my bosses. Until they decide to do whatever they want to do with me, I am just here for 1 term, and that is it. That is what the Constitution says according to my understanding. This is John Dramani Mahama. Now, before Mahama became president again, he was president 1 time, and then he became president after his boss, John Evans Atta Mills, passed on whilst on the seat of the president. Our only sitting president who passed on. So Mahama took on for a few months just to complete the tenure, and he went ahead to win the elections and become president. Right after that, many Ghanaians said no. They did not enjoy his presidency. The economy was hard. There was corruption. So Mahama and his government got booted out. When he was leaving power, he left us with a message. And he told us simply that the work that I have done shall live to be testimonialized to. Can I repeat that word? My brother, the work that I have done, the work that has been delivered by me and my government will be a testimony to many after I am gone. It didn't take long. Nana Addo's government started getting a very big slap on the face. The economy started going bad, especially after the first term. Corruption was all over the place. And then we had COVID striking hard. Many were those who were running to hospitals, and a lot of those hospitals were built by Mahama. And then they got to understand what Mahama meant by the work that I have done will live to be a testimony to many. Oh my God. Come here. Now, my brother, my sister, this is John Dramani Mahama. We booted him out. After 8 years, he started campaigning, and the arrogant people in power chewed him like chichinga. Some called him the dead goat. Many called him the incompetent Mahama. Some called him Papano. Others called him names that we cannot repeat on a decent channel like this. Now, one of the predators of the NPP government was Chairman Wontumi. Bernard, Entry, Bosiakon. This is the guy we're talking about. He made a lot of painful allegations against Mahama. He called him a pedophile. He called him a rapist. And he said that he had secretly married the woman who became his vice president. And I'm talking about Professor Jane Nana. My brother, my sister. He said Mahama and the woman were secretly married and were engaged in extramarital affairs, hidden to the public. Chairman Wontumi said a lot of nasty things. Today he's busily apologizing. But Mahama has forgiven, as the Christian that he is. Information reaching me from the grapevine. Mahama is focused on delivering on his mandate. If Chairman Wontumi's issue comes up, he says one thing: I have forgotten about Chairman Wontumi, forgiving him, but some of the things that he said about me, only time can erase the pain. Yes, for Chairman Wontumi, as a Christian, I've forgiven him. All the unsubstantiated things he said about me, he's forgiven. But the wounds that he inflicted on my sensitive flesh are still taking time to heal. I do not have any malice against him. I'm not looking forward to retaliating. I am just looking forward to the healing of the wounds. And only time will heal the wounds. Chairman Wontumi has apologized time and again, and he's still apologizing. We all remember that infamous apology that he gave to Mahama. What did he say in that apology? Watch this.
Michiano, he's our president. Abra na ope no dear. That's Abra no. Na ya there. I was a me year juma at the mommy party. Sisia ya yine dear. Anya dear on wa krobe babio. Na Michiano Mechiano. Michiano Mechiano. Na masa akache say. Minim sadia akufuado. A handy over to no. Minim says so no so be handy over at the Amabawumia. Our 2029 no or no so be handy over at the Amano. Na me kanso so a me wo me wo the right to say that because Abra Yura Kufo only Yura Rollins a Prez 1996 na 2000 onko bio no or handy over edema Yura Kufo Abra Yura Tamas only Yura Kufo a Prez 2000 204 na 28 onko bio no Yura Kufo handy over edema Yura Tamas uwu na yare kanipa ho enyina nim de esi ye 2016 abra 2012 abra sansana oye president ntino he maintain and 2016 Akufo-Addo abaye yewura Mahama handi over to yewura Akufo-Addo and yewura Mahama esane yewura Akufo-Addo sa compete election 2020 election 2024 yewura Akufo-Addo nkobio or handi over edema yewura Mahama and election 2024 aye yewura Babud Bawumia and ne yewura Mahama a contest ye until election 2028 onkobio no let's say election 2028 yewura Mahama will hand over at the ama yewura Babud Bawumia we ni ahotoso sonko a ewo ema ye ewo politics no mu a ye betimi di agina so e de akasa say yenim say election 2028 no MPP ne bewe ne the president Mahama will hand over to MPP or Dr. Alhaji Mahmoud Bawumia.
Now be pan for bibi a kan tia na.
Oh, see ye ni pai. Say ye ni pai. Edru da bia yenson sen se smaka bibi atia no a obeka se de enye nenye ena de yenso na ye nti eno de menson sen afutu na menson che mepo acha wonso what I said ti say my bibi a mofa so mu ni adwem yes make say I'm sorry. Yes. Because I'm sorry. Thank you.
Is this not an arrogant guy with no common sense? Look at him. At the time he granted this interview, Mahama was president. Look at how he went about politicking instead of rendering an apology for inflicting so many painful incisions on the sensitive skin of the first gentleman of the land. Did you hear him? Those of us who don't speak Akan, he started by saying, you know what? I am not beyond advice and I'm not beyond apologies. If I have done anything wrong, and remember it's an if in my grammar class, I was taught that apologies must not come with ifs and buts. Ifs and buts, no way. If I have done anything wrong to the president, I will say I am sorry. My brother, my sister, somebody who says that he's not beyond advice. Now I am going to be telling you something that nobody is able to tell you. My brother, my sister, Chairman Wontumi went ahead to talk about the fact that he is hearing that Mahama might be trying to go for a third term, but he's trying to talk to him to hand over after 2028, just as Nana Addo handed over power to him. Kufuor handed over power to John Evans Atta Mills. His tenure of office is ended come 2028. Therefore, he shouldn't think about a third term. Listen to an apology that has metamorphosed into politicking. My brother, my sister, I can tell you point blank that Chairman Wontumi has made attempts to go and see President Mahama. And the message is simple: to apologize to him that whatever I said about him during the elections, I was wrong and I am sorry. And Mahama has always maintained one thing: I understand. It's okay. I've forgotten about all those things that you have said. I've forgiven you. But remember that it is taking time for my wounds to heal. The less I see of you, the better. Let the wounds heal. But I've forgiven you. Now, when he started going to court, he believed that Mahama was politically witch hunting him. Mahama was trying to put him to jail in retribution to whatever he had done against Mahama, said against Mahama, those painful things. But this is why Mahama can forgive, but can never forget. Come here. Now, my brother, my sister, when Wontumi was busily inflicting these painful wounds on Mahama, calling him a drunkard, a pedophile, a rapist, an irresponsible husband, and Canada, Japan, also busily calling him corrupt. My brother, my sister, and a lot of these allegations were hanging around his head. The NPP people were so quiet. They were excited by what Wontumi was saying against Mahama. All the things Wontumi said, and we can't play them back. They are so nauseating. I will never repeat that on the show. My brother, my sister, somebody who has children, somebody who has a wife sitting at home, somebody who has been president before, they demeaned him and made him look as useless as a piece of rag in front of an abandoned toilet. Mahama heard this. He never responded. He never said anything. His family saw that. Nobody uttered a word. Some party members wanted to even take Wontumi on, but Mahama said no. Forget about it. His politics he's doing, he would learn. That was what Mahama said. Right after Mahama won power, Wontumi all of a sudden wants to apologize. It means this apology is not even genuine. If Mahama had not won power, Wontumi by now would be on his radio station talking more. Come here. My brother, it hurts me very, very terribly that some of us only conditionally apologize at the time that he was unleashing his arsenal on Mahama without any common sense, so foolishly. A man who was almost 50. Look how he was talking about a former president who governed over 30 million Ghanaians in 2 different regimes. My brother, my sister, the NPP said nothing. No member of the NPP came out to denounce or to ask Wontumi to retract and apologize. No, they were excited about the fanfare. Bawumia was busily calling him the incompetent. As for Bawumia, he was doing politics, at least sensible politics. He never called him a drunkard. Neither did he call him a rapist or a pedophile. He only said, incompetent Mahama. I hear the incompetent Mahama is coming back. To do what? To continue with the incompetence? At least that is politics. But they all sat down and watched semi-illiterates who do not even understand their own party policies. And I'm talking about Wontumi. Do all the killing, the bloodshedding for the party. Did you hear a single member of the NPP condemning what Wontumi was doing? Did you hear that? All of a sudden, what has changed? The whole NPP is running to Mahama to apologize to him. What kind of hypocrisy is this? This is where Mahama is showing maturity. You insulted me. You did everything that you did. I never responded. All of a sudden, you think that I am the author of your woes. all of a sudden you see my importance, that I am the only one who can give you some kind of amnesty. Kennedy of Japan met Mahama at an airport, undisclosed. And Kennedy was quick to come back, even before the elections, to praise Mahama and say how Mahama was a gentleman. And despite all the insults he unleashed on Mahama, Mahama saw him from afar and called him and embraced him, and they talked as if Kennedy had never said anything about him. That is maturity. But Wontumi, no. Every single broadcast, he was ready to draw blood from a man who has a family and has had a big following before as president. They called him a drunkard. They said a certain flags that he took around was full of appetition. They said he was sleeping with girls by heart. Papa no. They even made songs about that. The dead goat. Today, Chairman Wontumi is in jail for 20 years. And he's still apologizing. Now, Chairman Wontumi as a spokesperson, he's called Paul Grave. Boachi Dankwa. How many of us know him? He is a member of the NPP. In fact, he's a gentleman that I love. The other day, he met me and told me, oh, Black Rasta, hey, there was one time you got me here, you gave it to me hard. But I know you are doing your work. He embraced me, we shook hands, and I told him I don't even remember. Because when I come out, I look at the issues, not personalities. From that time, we became very good friends. This is the guy going round, doing damage control for Wontumi. But the big question is, when Wontumi was going around on that mud-slinging spree, where were all these people? Let's listen to him. Watch this.
Kasabi wo hono ma ankoye. Now, maybe what you I'm a person of virtue and values. Inti mejina ko nyanso. Na me de a chopper. Ama Ghana mampeni. Say in 70 bia Mira Chairman Wontumi ekaye about ono nire neba yepanicho. Say judgment ba na you plead for mercy. I want to plead for mercy to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, Ghana Mampeni, and then the Busia say ye paucho, party paucho, Chairman Wontumi so paucho, and say a pacho. Ni ye no fi hono, ye we are not for the amam running. And nothing as a political party, we say very clearly, say Nema Wenya, bra, Ude Shadi, we Nema Wenya. I have had
Paul Grave Boachi Dankwa. Did you hear him? This is a wise man speaking. This is a man who thinks before he speaks. He said, before I will go into the Wontumi case, let me first and foremost apologize on behalf of Chairman Wontumi. It doesn't end there. Apologize on behalf of the NPP. And apologize on my own behalf. I am not too sure he has the permission of the party to apologize to the president on behalf of Chairman Wontumi. This is an arrogant party that never apologizes. Don't they have a scribe? Why is the scribe not writing out the apology documented, but rather peripheral party members? Excuse me for describing you as a peripheral party member. But you understand, the big wigs of the party, those who communicate for the party, what happened to them? Too arrogant to accept their faults. But the wise guy here is apologizing on behalf of the party, though unconscientiously. Can you say that again, Black Rasta? My Black Rasta, this is what is happening. No consent He's apologized on behalf of the party and on his own behalf and on the behalf of Wontumi. Would they have apologized if Mahama hadn't won? Your guess is as good as mine. But that also tells us that we are a very corrupt, dirty, foolish people. Can I say it again? We are a very corrupt, dirty, foolish people. We are not ready to be responsible or take responsibility for our actions. Wontumi was engaged in foolishness. The courts have found him guilty. He's not a political prisoner. Why are we busily concentrating on the president? Because the president can veto in what is known as amnesty. The president all of a sudden has become important because there is somebody in there who needs the president's signature to have him pulled out, despite the foolishness he unleashed on the people of Ghana. If Mahama allows Wontumi out, I'll curse him. I'm telling you. Mahama has no hand. Was Mahama there when Wontumi went to Tano Nimri? Was Mahama there when they went to Samaboy? Was Mahama there when he went for the Exim Bank fraudulent loan? Why should Mahama be drawn into this caboodle? Hey, take the bull by the horn. Do not be a crazy bull in a China shop. Yours is just to destroy. You are not ready to build. You are a bull in a China shop. Accept it. If I were Wontumi, you know what? I will even refuse any amnesty. I will still be in there. Let me suffer the consequences of my thing. But you are busily sending Janto around to go and beg so you come out. What a coward. What a coward. What has Mahama got to do with your imprisonment? It is Nana Addo who gave the law, who passed it as president from 3 years to 25 years. The judge took pity and gave you 20 years. You still want to come out because you are holier than the banana thieves in there, the plantain thieves in there who have been given 10 years. Those who stole a fowl and they are in there for 10 years. You are better than them. You are more human than them. Mahama says he has forgiven Wontumi, but as for the wounds that have been inflicted on him, it is time that will heal those wounds, and that is normal. It's the black pot. AKA Kokoshodemo. And here we speak truth to power.
So abusua we ne ensma ekoso e political highway so chairman Wontumi and ayeguso e de ne ho nsem e bremare aftermath of the 20 years jail term we be breaki any details bia e wa ha sei e de amamo a enye easy kra bra ma say samoje pene kokoti sa ensem we e de ma ha e gossip politics TV so